14 tips for making a truly wonderful pizza. Friend of the International Caterers Guild and classical Italian pizza chef Sergio Palazzo gave us his own top tips for preparing a perfect pizza for your customers. Tip number 1. A great pizza must have a great crust. A soggy pizza crust will never do. Instead of piling the goodies on the uncooked dough, partially bake it first. Usually about 8 minutes will do. Then pull it out of the oven, put the toppings on and finish baking. Tip number 2. Never underbake the crust of your pizzas. You will know the crust is thoroughly done when the bottom is partially browned. Use a spatula to lift one edge and peek at the crust. Tip number 3. Never use a light coloured pan for baking a pizza. It will reflect the heat and you will have a hard time baking the pizza crust thoroughly. Tip number 4. A baking stone will help to bake the pizza crust. Put the baking stone in the oven at least 15 minutes ahead of the pizza. Personally, Chef Sergio prefers to bake his pizzas on a dark baking pan in the oven, placed on top of the hot baking stone. Tip number 5. Place the pizza low in the oven where radiant heat from the oven will help the crust to cook evenly, ensuring an even bake. Tip number 6. If you have trouble forming the pizza crust, the gluten may be the problem. Gluten gives the dough elasticity and a tight dough wants to spring back into shape. Partially shape the crust and then walk away for 5 to 10 minutes. When you get back, the dough will have relaxed and you can finish the crust. Tip number 7. A pizza crust of uniform thickness is a better crust. If you are not adept at spinning the crust, roll it to a uniform thickness of about 1/4 inch with a rolling pin. You can do that on a peel dusted with cornmeal or semolina flour so that the crust will slip off easily onto the stone or pan. If you don't have a peel, a sheet of heavy cardboard or even a wooden cutting board will do. You can also form the crust in your pan. The lips on the pan will preclude a rolling pin, but you can purchase a little rolling pin meant for the task and for rolling pasta that will work within the rims. If all else fails, grab a small jar and use it as a rolling pin. Tip number 8. If you don't have time to make or buy your favourite sauce, a jar of spaghetti sauce will do. Homemade is better, but a good commercial sauce is okay. Tip number 9. Some people prefer tender crusts. Chef Sergio prefers chewy. For a tender crust, use all-purpose flour. His favourite crusts are made with bread flour tempered just a bit with whole wheat, rye or all-purpose flours. Tip number 10. For a really great pizza crust, once the dough is kneaded, cover it and place it in the refrigerator overnight. The next day, remove the dough and let it rise on the counter. Allow plenty of time for the dough to come to room temperature and rise. At lower temperatures, the yeast produces a complex yeasty flavour that is very good. Tip number 11. Pizza dough that is just a bit on the wet side is easier to work with and actually makes a better tasting crust. Tip number 12. Toppings can be anything you want them to be. Measurements don't count, though less is usually better. Experiment with some of your favourite foods. Tip number 13. Olive oil makes a much tastier pizza crust than vegetable oil. Tip number 14. The final tip. If you are having trouble cutting your pizza with a knife or pizza wheel, simply grab the kitchen shears and start cutting.
Thank you for watching this International Caterers Guild video. If you want to discover how to improve your catering business or career, you should visit www.caterersguild.org.